And welcome back to the Big Man's Report here on News Talk 1492.3 WOND. I am your host, Blake Roselle, live here from Horror Rock Studios. I did not want to forget to mention that, in Linwood, New Jersey, South Jersey. Thank you all again for tuning in this lovely Saturday evening here on July 4th weekend. It's a big weekend we look forward to every year to spend time, like I said, with our families, our friends, kind of hang out, take a break from all the stressful things that we're doing in life and just kind of be ourselves and have fun and enjoy, right? So we always like to acknowledge that. But thank you guys all again for tuning in to tonight's program. Before we get back to the show, I do like to take a quick moment to always thank my sponsors who make this show possible. Castle Supermarket of Margate for all your grocery items, baked goods. Check out the deli and the in-store selections, the best in Margate, New Jersey. Check out Castle Supermarket. Stop in and say hello to my dear friend Howard. Tell him that I sent you. At Versus Italian Bakery for all of your Italian dishes, deli sandwiches, Italian pastries and bakery. Stop in one of the Versus 3 locations in Turnersville, Brigantine, and Margate. Always the best of the best, fresh daily. Versus Bakery is also available for catering events, birthday parties, and special occasions. Stop in and see my man Ralph. Tell him that I sent you. Blaze Gymnastics Training Academy in South Jersey All Sports of Northfield. For all gymnastics classes, birthday parties, tumbling. Don't forget South Jersey's all-new 8,000 square foot all-turf line new indoor and outdoor sports training facility. Stop on by Mill Road and ask for Tracy or look them up on Facebook. And their updates and posts daily to see where they're at. If you have any questions, stop by. Thomas C. Roselle, attorney at law. If you get in trouble, contact the law offices of Thomas C. Roselle for all your criminal and municipal matters. You can find Tom on Facebook and send him a private message. And again, thank you to all my sponsors. Now let's get back to the Big Man's Report live from Hard Rock Studios here on News Talk 1492.3 WOND. I am your host, Blake Roselle. Again, glad you guys could all join me this hour. If you're just tuning in, I have a great show for you tonight. I have a great guest on, making her way onto the big stage in the music industry. Again, I have on my dear guest here, Starr official. Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you again.
So, for our listeners who were tuned in the first half of the hour, we talked a little about your upbringing, what is passion to you. You had to kind of figure out what you wanted to do at a young age through other experiences that got you where you are today. And now you're killing it in just the start of your career, and there's so much more to look forward to. So we talked a little bit about, what it takes to record a song, what it's, the whole expression and the freedom of expression, I should say, to be able to talk about different things in those songs and what they mean and how they can benefit and help other people who may be struggling on a day-to-day, right? And that's the beauty of music. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk a little bit about your newly released single, No Filter, right? So it's all over. You hear it YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you may say, you can hear it on there. It's a really cool, and I checked it out obviously multiple times. I'm like, this girl can kill it. This is awesome. So tell me a little bit about that. Releasing that and filming that, and also where you filmed it, what it took to get into all that. Yeah, I'm throwing a lot on you, but I know you can tell me.
All right. No Filter is my No Filter. It's a story about being unapologetic, being authentic, being true to yourself, and trying to get people out there in the world to itch out and stop putting a filter on everything, to come with no filter. That's the whole idea,
right.
How it says, I ain't come with no filter. Now, let's all try to come without a filter, you know what
right.
I mean? But, my music video I filmed in Nashville, it was about, me growing up, never, went to high school, a normal high school, was always homeschooled. And going into high school, and I wouldn't be a normal girl. I would probably bring my dog to school because I've never even been, so I wouldn't know if I could do that or not. It shows that in the video. Pulling up, not in the right parking spot, on this actual school property, on the landmark. Mm-hmm. And, me getting in trouble, or, me, dealing with bullies or stuff like that. That's what No Filter is all about. Telling people, this is me, I'm coming with no filter, and there's a fine line for respect. I'm gonna say it as it is, but I'm also gonna respect you.
Right.
But respect me too.
Mm-hmm. So it was meant in a way to kind of just, would you said speak your mind in a way, just kind of say how you're feeling?
Yeah, make noise, basically.
Yeah. Right.
I guess, that's how it was brought out to
mm-hmm.
be.
So, going into the song and then the music video itself, so there's a lot of choreographed dancing and all that going on.
That took a while. my dance choreographer, his name was Keenan. He's done stuff with Cardi B, from J-Lo to J Balvin, a bunch of other people. But we were, how long? I would want to say months, for like maybe a few months we were going, and then I had 2 weeks to prepare for the final dance choreo for the music video. I had 1 week, like a few days basically.
Wow.
And I just went for it and did it.
Went for it and did it.
It honestly was pretty hard.
Yeah.
It was pretty hard now that I think about it, because it's like, you know, you have to be like you have to be all there at the moment and like pay attention.
Right.
So dynamic.
So mom was telling me that it's very hard to sing and dance for an artist at the same time, but you seem to have that ability and that talent. So what's that like for you?
Oh, it is overwhelming at some moments, but I try to, you know, pick myself up and realize like this is what I want to do and I'm doing this, and I got to pull my energy together and keep on breathing and singing and dancing, moving around. But it is a lot of work. It's like a workout. Like it takes like the life out of you.
Mm-hmm. So it's a lot. Obviously, like you said, it's a lot that goes into it, but it just takes practice. Practice makes perfect, right?
Yeah.
As you know.
We're never perfect.
Yeah. At least you try to get to that, but you do your best you can to get to that point, right?
Yeah, I try to be natural with it. Like, just be me, you know. And if I mess up, then go natural with it. Try to act like that was planned.
Yeah. So actually, we could play a little bit of the song. So I'll have my producer pull it up, and he'll play the song. So let's get that song on the airs. We'll play a little bit of it so our listeners can hear it and know, and then we'll talk about later on in the interview where to check it out. So let's pull that song if we can. And here's a little bit of "No Filter" by Starr Official. So going into the song, so what was some of the feedback that you got from the song? Like, I mean, a lot of
people were saying, you remind me of Britney Spears, and I was like, oh, thanks. Like, that's cool, because I like Britney, she's awesome. That it was an unapologetic song, like it was in your face, but it was a good thing. Like it was making noise, like it was bringing a statement to the community, to the people, and what we need to hear. But it's also, like I said, a fine line of respect. Like, so people are seeing it, they're understanding it, and they're like, she's not being rude, but she's just being herself, authentic.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a lot of the feedback I've gotten. People saying, I want more music, or this video is awesome, keep dropping, let's go, A-Star, get it, like, we're lit, stuff like that, pretty much.
So people are, obviously you're getting lots of positive feedback.
Yeah.
People are really loving it, and they're like, oh, this girl's awesome, we want more, we want to hear more.
Yeah, obviously every artist gets bad feedback on some things, but from the bad feedback, look at it like it's good feedback, because you know they hear you.
Yes.
So that means keep going.
Exactly.
Because if they don't hear you, that means don't keep going.
Yeah.
But I've noticed people hear me, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, and that goes into like the social media world too. Like, you know, we sometimes tend to get caught up in, I mean, you know, who likes this post? Does, you know, who listens to this post? Who viewed this post, right? But, you know, in whatever you're doing, music, podcasting, radio, entertainment, whatever it may be, it's not you know. And I talked to a good friend of mine who actually we had a great conversation. Who's also in the he's in the comedy business, and he's a really up and coming comedian. And we had a good conversation, and he was telling me, like, it's not about who likes it or at that time or who's viewing it, because the point is it's out there, right?
Yeah.
So like you kind of say, it's being heard, it's being seen, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's all you need to keep going forward. Because when we're first starting out, if we're worried about, oh, this post didn't get a lot of likes, right? Or, oh, I mean, no one really viewed this, like, it may be discouraging, right? And I'm just saying, like, in general, some people may feel that way, depending. But you just kind of got to keep moving forward, and you know. But I'm saying, you know, maybe when you're starting.
Just because it doesn't go out great one time doesn't mean you're done. No, that's the challenge. You got to keep going until you get it right. Okay, let's say one song it just blows out of the water and it goes platinum. That don't mean just because you got one song, you're going to have your next song that's platinum. No, you got to keep striving the same way you strive for that song that you got platinum. You got to keep with that same mindset, because it could stop any moment. Yeah. But you got to keep on going, because you got to be ahead of it all.
Right.
because there's so many other people in the game, and you know they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're striving, they're hungry, they're ready to go out there and do what they got to do.
Mm-hmm. Right, so they're moving along and they're ready to go. So you can't get hung up on
It's
that
that
stuff.
type of industry where there's so many people all doing music, but it could be all different genres, but they're all there for one reason: to keep making music, to keep doing something, to touch other people, to, you know, for people to hear their music. That's the whole idea. But there's a story behind most of all songs,
Right.
pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like you said, that most songs have that meaning behind them, right?
Yeah.
So.
It can get overwhelming, though, you know, the music industry and stuff. Like, you know, some people get in the hang of, oh my God, I have to compete against this person, or I'm second on the charts as this person. Oh my God, I didn't win, you know, an award or this or that. Yo, at least you got to go to the awards. At least you got on that billboard. At least you did this. At least you have a song now. At least you got this far. You know what? You can come back next year and you're going to do much better. You got to keep that mindset where you have to, every time you fail, that's success. Because if you don't fail, you'll never learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
That's so true. Yeah, if you never fail, you're really growing if you don't fail, right? We have to have those obstacles and those failures.
That's what Albert Einstein said. If you never made a mistake, you never really learned.
Exactly.
That's exactly what he said, though.
Yeah.
And I love him for that. It was a really cool thing.
And to our listeners, that's so important, and that's great words of advice to take, right?
Yeah.
So, so you have no filter out. So from my understanding, you do have an album out, right?
Yes.
Or in the process, or where are we at with that?
My album is fully done already. I have to release a few more singles until I can put my album out. My next single is called Tomboy. That will be coming out very soon. I don't have an exact date yet, so when I do, I will be able to share with everyone, but I don't at the moment.
Right.
But Tomboy is about, you know, being bold, like I said, not in your face. It's bold, in your face.
Right.
And it's basically saying, you know, I can do it all, but I can also be me. Like, I could be in a suit, but I could be in the mud the next minute. I could be riding a dirt bike doing a wheelie, but I could be wearing a fancy dress walking down, you know, a carpet or something. That's the whole thing. Like, it's best of both worlds. No one has to tell you have to be one thing when you could be anything you want to be.
Yeah. And that's awesome to look at that way too, right? Like, and that's going to be a great outreach because, again, it takes us back to like the being yourself thing. Like, you know, don't have to be just one person or one thing.
I don't want to be one person.
Yeah.
I want to do everything. I want to get to meet all people around the world. I want to do everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like that's what's going to keep me young. Like, always jumping onto something next, a new project, meeting new people, doing something new. I love it. It's like my drive in life. It's natural. It's life for me.
And that's how you know, like you said, we talked about earlier on in the show, like that's how you know it's for you, when it just clicks like that, right?
Yeah.
It just clicks and you just have that feeling right away that this is it. You know, this is me. This is what I want to do. So, you know, an up and coming artist, or just be, you know, an artist in general, like, so what are some things like daily maybe values that you live by? I know you have a brand book that you look at and you read, and what are some routines that help you as an artist that you have to follow by each day?
I like to meditate a lot. I feel like it's a really calming thing for me. It brings me back to reality, or, you know, sometimes I need alone time, or when I go work out. Mostly boxing has helped me because it's like I put like all my anger into the bag and I just punch the bag, or, you know, it's taught me to be patient with my, you know, footsteps and my position and everything, where I'm moving, where I'm going, the game, what I got to do next, what I got to watch out for. I feel like it's more patience, and that's one sport that I've always, you know, like been drawn to, and I've grown up around like the boxing industry, entertainment, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's another one of my hobbies I do mostly every day, or I'll do writing, or I'll read quotes. Every day I mostly read a quote, and I feel like I learned something from each one of those quotes I read. But not a lot of the stuff I do can be really helpful at times, but sometimes I do get, you know, caught up in life and what surrounds me, and, you know, I guess that is life, but at the same time you got to bring yourself back to reality.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, for everyone, and no one's perfect. Life happens.
I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not perfect. Though, and if you are perfect, that ain't perfect. You being not perfect is perfect. That's the way I look at it. Like, when you are yourself, that's when you're most perfect. When you're trying to be someone else, you're not cool, and you're not perfect then.
No, that's a great point. I mean, so you have to have certain things that you live by, like you said, each day.
Meditation,
Yeah.
boxing, quote reading,
Yeah.
writing books, working out, like I said, or it could be being around, my parents or my family or friends. It all depends on what day of the week it is.
Right. So you also it takes a lot of out of the studio time. Just being an artist is a whole package, right?
Absolutely, it's an everyday life. Once you become an artist, you're living in that person. You're living in this book. You're living in this life. It's a whole new database for you. But for me, I don't feel like it is, because I've always felt like I was a star, but I never was able to fully say it out loud. I wasn't able to address it and be like, this is me. But now I feel happy enough to say it, like, this is me, and this is who I am, and I'm unapologetic, and I'm a star.
Right.
And I come with no filter, and there's much more that's coming that you will see has no filter to it.
So so you released No Filter, and that's kind of like almost like what your statement.
That's one of the storylines.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the first storyline we wanted to approach, the world with, so they can get the main idea. And it'll carry on with the rest of the stories that have to come in singles, to an EP, to a full album, to, interviews. I'll talk about all this stuff, basically all that. Right. But there's so many more songs that are coming, and I'm literally so excited to just put them out for people to hear them, for them to just be there, There, a lot of times I say, A-Starr isn't just for me. It's also for other people, So I want people to feel like they can be themselves through my music.
Through what you're doing.
Yeah.
And again, and that takes us back to the point that I mentioned earlier was, you may not realize it, but you're going to be, benefiting or helping someone somewhere in this country or in the world with what you're doing. And that's one of the greatest,
They're going to help
assets.
me too.
Yeah. Right.
They're going to help me too. Trust me. I feel like we're going to give to them, and they're going to give back to us, because I feel like everyone should be treated the same.
Right.
That's just the way I look at life. What comes around goes around. If you're nice, it's going to come back to you.
I'm a strong believer in that as well, and I think a lot of people are, right? Hopefully, if you project kindness to someone, that's something that you should get in return, right?
Absolutely.
So, so far in your career, who are some of the people you were fortunate enough to work with, and maybe some that you can say, some that you can't say, but and depending on on what you're doing with your music. But who have you had the chance to be able to work with?
I've been able to work with Pooh Bear, like I said. Shondo, DOC Beats. He's done a lot of stuff for Jay, the Prince of New York. Little Dirk, a bunch of those artists. And then I have other features that'll be coming in, and I wish I could say their names, but unfortunately I can't, because I don't want to do that. But that's what puts the little icing on the top of the cake, because you don't want to give out all that information, because then then they're not hungry.
Right.
You got to make people want to know, so you got to not give them the whole entire piece of the cake. You got to give them half of it.
Right.
So they'll want the next side of the other side of the cake.
Yes. So just give them a little bit for now, and then the whole thing gets put together as time goes on, right? And when it gets released fully. So, following No Filter, and then obviously you're on to your other, you're recording your other singles and stuff like that. So what were some? So you had the chance to do some interviews as well, and some articles written about you.
Yeah.
So what are some of the platforms that were able to write some articles about featuring you and who A-Starr is? Who are some of the people you worked with?
Some of the people I've worked with was the Broadway World. I think that's what it was called. And then it was the Press Prelude. I'm not pronouncing it right.
Press Prelude?
I don't know, something like that. No, but I've gotten to do a lot of interviews, but I don't have all their names.
Right.
I'm not good with it all. Ones to watch. That's who I did an interview with. Yeah, I've done a few interviews and all that, but one of the interviews I did, actually, I got, distracted in one of them, and I paused and I didn't know what to say, and I was stopped for a whole minute in the interview, and I was like, Next question.
Next question, please.
Oh, and I've done something with Hashtag Magazine, which was one of my favorite articles I got to do, and the people I got to talk to that interviewed me were really cool.
That's awesome. So you've been getting obviously both ends. So mainly you've been getting very positive feedback from all this, and you see the rewards and all your success through your hard work.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the most important thing. Like, you just keep going, right? You don't put it, you put it, one day comes, you do what you have to do, then the next day you're ready for the next day, right? You don't harp on one thing, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say? And I always ask this to like people that I have on, because I think it's so important in your industry and what you're doing. And you're living it right now currently, right? And you're going to continue to grow and to just really take off with this. But what is one thing that you would tell someone who maybe wants to be in your shoes one day? What is some piece of advice that you would give that person?
Wow, that is a big question, and I have the answer for that. I would say do what you love, follow your dreams, and be yourself. And trust yourself and know what you want, because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to pick yourself up and get going. Mm-hmm. Everyone else can try to do it. They can try to tell you what to do. They can say this is good for you or that's not. But you have to have your all in it, and you have to be willing to make that decision.
Right.
Because it can either make you or break you, this industry. But for me, I feel like it's not broken me. It's made me who I am today. It's made me come out and not be scared. And I feel like there's so much more that I have to learn that's going to make me not scared. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I am still shy of, like, being on stage or, like, singing in public. But that'll overcome over time.
Yeah.
There'll be much more to,
Well, that's, I mean, and anything new and that you're not used to at the moment, I mean, it probably takes some time to overcome, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so, yeah.
I remember, and it's funny, when I went on my first show on the air doing what I'm doing, I had to open it, and like it was my first time on my own show, and like so I was telling you off the record that I was on another woman's show, Nancy Nutrition Live, who kudos to Nancy, she does a great job in her program here at Family Part of WOND. But when I had my own show, I remember like the first time I went on, and I'm like, the on-air symbol went on, and I'm like, and the mic, it was all on me. I'm like I think I kind of like mixed my words in the beginning when I had to introduce the show, because I was a little nervous in the beginning, right?
I feel like that a lot of times.
And then it's become more fluid, and it's become more fluent. I'm used to it now. But in the beginning, like, it was definitely nerve-wracking. So you get what you're saying.
I feel like every artist in person, when they're doing an interview or they're doing something new that they're not familiar with, obviously there's going to be a thought in the back of your mind where you're going to feel like, oh my God, am I going to make a mistake? Am I going to do this? Am I going to do that? And that's a natural thing for all humans to do, to overthink things. That's what you have a brain for.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we're all human, right? We all make mistakes.
We're all human.
Yeah.
We're all human.
So, what do you think? I mean, another thing that I mentioned early on was, when I wanted to bring us back to this point, was the social media era. How has social media benefited you in your career and and what you're doing?
Ooh, that is a good one. I would say definitely, getting to put photos out there, and a lot of the photos that I got to do and photo shoots and stuff, like, they were really fun, and I got to travel to places to do them, and there was also a story behind them and what I was wearing. It was fun, and who I got to work with at the moment, and it was a memory I made.
Right. So something that you can kind of keep with you, right?
Yeah.
But so it's more like on the actual like artist side of it, the business end of it, like you're growing through social media. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot put into social media, I feel like, and a lot of people that that are on it every day. It's almost like it's a job, but it's almost like it should be fun at the same time, which it is for me, because I get to share like what I'm doing on my stories or my photos, or people get to see what it was like during, my music video, what I was wearing, what I was doing, who was there, and when you go to do your caption, what the captions say, and everything all lines up. But I don't know if anyone realizes that yet, but they will.
Yeah.
Everything's encrypted to line up, like all the sayings and the writings, and people don't notice, but I'm telling you guys for the first time on here that that's what it is.
Yeah. And I think, and that's a good point, because I feel like we look at it, maybe a picture that was posted on Instagram or something, we just kind of view it as it is, right? But again, you said they're like everything kind of lines up to lead to one thing to another to mean something.
Like it's a coding. Like that
Yes.
post is actually telling you something, you don't even realize it.
Right.
That's what the whole idea is. That's what the whole adventure side is about it. You got to figure it out. That's your challenge. Like my challenge is to put that out there, and it's there. So now your challenge, I gave you a challenge. My challenge was for me to put that out there.
Yeah. So.
But YouTube's fun too. I got to put out that one music video, and then I had a lyric video, which was really cool. Getting to make that, getting to work with someone that's been a big help in my life, Sean Tracy. He's an amazing guy. Has been there for me when I was doing my music video. Has introduced me to so many people. But it's been a really great experience. And also, doing distribution with Rock Nation has been so cool for me. And, getting to work with TikTok and do the campaigns I've been doing is so fun.
TikTok is,
Big
the last
platform.
Yeah, you look at your Instagram and YouTube, it's huge, but like TikTok has really been an unbelievable platform.
It's like
people look at TikTok
and
as
Vine.
Yeah.
I remember when Vine was out, and then it was Musical.ly, and then it became TikTok, and then when it became TikTok, I feel like it got so much more bigger than Vine and Musical.ly. Like it just blew up, and all the people that are the creators on there, it's insane how their lives have changed just from doing that one small video. It could be them dancing, like mimicking the song with their mouth, or them doing something and a song's playing and you're seeing what they're doing, or they could just stand there in front of the camera. It all depends. So that's what's really cool about the app, because we're all coming together onto this app to post whatever.
Yeah.
And we're going to see who likes it or not, and it don't really matter, because you know what? You put that video out there. It's out there. It's
out there
done.
anyway.
You're done. Once it's out there, it's done.
Yeah. But it's so cool. Like you think of TikTok, like little second clips or minute, whatever it is now, that you can just project so much information, so much content.
It's like
let's just say.
Instagram with the reels.
Yes.
Like they're doing these reels now, and I feel like it's almost the same thing as TikTok, but it's also different, because they're like, I'll see ones like when I go to do my reels, like, and I'll go to look at other people's, there'll be like ones that'll be like, follow your dreams, like that's one of like the sayings on the soundtrack, and then it'll just start popping in photos of like memories and stuff, and it's like, whoa, how cool is it to see everything all together in one memory and one video, all those memories in one video.
Yeah. It's able to see everything at once, and it's really neat to see that, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. So what would you say, we're coming towards the end here, but before I want to talk, how would you relate your music? So what genre of music are you trying to project?
Oh, so the genre I'm trying to show the world and project is basically pop, like pop, R&B, like hip hop.
Yeah.
So basically it's like soul music, it's like kind of rap-ish, it's kind of, I feel like it's not sad, but it's like happy, energetic. Sometimes it can be sad. There is one song coming out that'll seem sad. It's not here yet, but it'll be out. It's called Feels So Right. I want to say that. And people are not going to be expecting this song to come out, because it's so different, and that's what I love about it. Because I don't like doing the same stuff, and I feel like that's what's going to be the best part about doing what I'm doing, is that I get to get more creative throughout my music and make different songs about different things, or like weird stuff. Like a lot of people that are in the studio, I feel like we think about wacky stuff. Like we got to get out of the box.
Right.
You might have to go run outside and run back in and be like, oh God, how did that run make you feel? Or like, what did this do for you? Like all these things. But really, I would say I'm pop. That's my genre.
Right. But then again, you said you don't like you don't release the same kind of stuff over and over.
And over again.
You're changing it up.
It's still
you're giving
pop,
them something new.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm still the pop alternative. That's what I want to say I am. It all depends. That's the thing. It's like I'm still the same person today, but I might wake up tomorrow with a different mood. But I'm still the same person.
Yeah, but
with a different mood. And that's what's fun. You know why? Because you have all different. You can go to Starr's thing, and she'll have all different moods. So if you're feeling like this one day, then you listen to that song. If you're feeling like that another day, then you listen to another song. That's what's so cool. It's like you're going to go and you're going to be able to find a song that you can relate to on a daily basis.
Right.
So it's not just one song. You'll feel like you're with the music throughout each thing.
feel like you're right. You feel part of that music, right?
Uh-huh.
You feel part of that. So, I can't believe we came down to the end of the hour here. It went so fast, didn't it?
I talk a lot.
No, I wish we had more time. We need like a few hour show just to kind of like get it. But we're definitely gonna have you back on again, of course, in the future. So before we end here, I do want to. So what is one thing that our audience should know about you? Number one, and then tell us how we can get in touch with you on your social medias.
I'm Starr. You guys can find me on Instagram at a.starrofficial, and my YouTube is Starr. And all my interviews, you guys can just go on Safari, Google, or whatever, and look up Starr no filter articles and stuff, and you guys can read about what I've done, who I've done interviews with, music videos, my post, and my TikTok is a.starrofficial. So yeah.
So we have your so one thing that you would leave our audience with today? Yeah, what would you want to tell them about you? We talked a lot about who you are, your passions and all that stuff, but what is one thing that you might say that you are?
I wrote it down because I want to make sure that I have it all right and I'm saying it correctly so they can understand me. Starr is an unapologetic voice for a new generation that are more real and less filtered by itching people to be more true to themselves and less worried about being judged, labeled, or viewed through the filter of other people's opinions.
That's great. I love that, honestly. That's so cool.
Yep.
And that just says so much in one message, right? It just says what you're defined as. You're bold, you know what you want, and that's what it is, right?
Yep. I'm a badass for good. That's one of my lines.
That's awesome. Well, hey, listen, no filters out there on YouTube. And I think, how many views have you had? Over a good amount, over a million, right?
Over a million
on
YouTube, and on Spotify, it's about to be a million streams, like listeners.
Yeah.
But monthly listeners, I think it's about 400,000 or 500,000 now. But Apple, I'm not sure, but I know that there's a lot on Apple too, and there's more. I'm on every platform now.
If you haven't checked out No Filter, go on YouTube and find it right now because it is awesome. It is so cool to watch. Watch how you do all the dances and everything just put together in one. It's awesome. So I'm looking forward to, and my audience as well, looking forward to more of your content coming out. I wanted to thank you again for coming on tonight. And we'll definitely have you on again in the future, see where you're at, and do like a follow-up. And the sky is the limit for you.
Yes,
sky is the limit.
Absolutely.
So thank you again, and look forward to having you on in the future. Like I said, next week, guys, tune in to my show I have on the Netflix cast from The Circle. Okay, if you haven't seen Netflix, season 1 and season 3, okay, they'll be back on with me next week, live in studio, so you do not want to miss that. I will post a link to the show on my Instagram, the Big Man's Report _live. You know where to follow me, you know where to get me, and everyone, again, enjoy the July 4th weekend. Go relax. You guys all deserve it. And I will see you back here next Saturday night live from Hard Rock Studios. This is the Big Man's Report on News Talk 1400 and 92.3 WOND. I will see you all next week. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.